I ran into this video on TikTok, and I was very. It was kind of funny, um, but it's a lot of content that I can get from this video. It's kind of like a gold mine for me. And for starters, before I go any further, I would like to say that this is a pro truth channel. This is not a gender war channel. This is not a channel where, oh, I'm bashing black women, bashing. This is a pro truth channel geared toward the black community, geared toward black America. Now, if anybody else so happen to stumble across this channel and get something from it and you know whether they get something from it and have a black friend and they want to share with that black friend, um, I appreciate you. I'm eternally grateful for that. But the thing is this, and the reason why I say it's geared toward the black community because I'm a black man, and it don't take me just being a black man. It take anybody with a brain, two pair of eyes, and common sense to know that the black community is in bad shape. And all the people who the black community look towards as people who actually care about them, which they don't, which is the fake black preachers. Not all of them, but most of them. Members of the Democratic Party, fake black leaders like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and Ben Crump, people like that, who they actually think care about them, but actually don't. Right? They actually don't, cause they did. They people that care about you tell you what you can do to change your situation, not who fault it is. And you know when you deal with racism and all that, yeah, when racism is a situation that we have to address. But as I always say in my video, racism is the leaky faucet. The real issues in our community, such as black on black crime, abortion, fatherless home, that's the fire in the bedroom. That's the situation that we need to take care of right now before, as a race, we go completely to hell in the handbasket. That's what we had, right? And also, and that's why I like to say it's geared toward the black community because I'm black, and who better else talk to the black community from a point of pro truth than me? Nobody else can do it. Anybody else say something, they racist. And majority of the time, when a black person say something, they come, especially black conservatives, which I don't adhere to. I don't. I agree with a lot of things that the black conservative movement do. Um, but some of those people in the black conservative movement are people who was rejected by the black community. So now they using politics and things that actually hurt the black community to attack the black community. Because I was at one particular time consider myself a black conservative, but once I began to see what most of them about, I had to back up. But I still do agree with a lot of the things that they say. The conscious community, there's a lot of different community in the black community that has a lot of pluses, but the minuses is why I won't adhere to it and say, "Oh, I'm a part of that." I'm just a black man that's about pro truth and spreading that pro truth to my community because only then will we be able to accept what's going on, and then therefore we can come up with a solution. And with that being said, so this is a pro truth channel. It's not no for you emotional black liberal, black wokey woke. This channel not for you. You're not gonna get it. You're gonna get in your feelings a lot of time, and you're gonna come in my comment with those long paragraphs that's not gonna change my mind because I'm a common sense person. I go off of logic and common sense, not emotion, right? And and so this channel probably you're not gonna like it, so it's paid for you not to even listen to it. But if you listen to it, I appreciate you too because if you stay here long enough, it's gonna rub off on you. And another thing I want to say, when I say liberal and conservative, when I use those terms in my conversations, um, I'm not really dealing with politics. I'm talking about ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Just to be clear on that, liberal ideologies, everything goes, kill a baby. Let's be accepting of every different type of life. That I'm not with that over here. We conservative. We believe in two genders over here. We believe in creating generational wealth. We believe in pro life. Just to give you a piece. I get off into that in another video, the conservative and liberal ideology thing. And the next thing, like I said, I want to put out as a disclaimer about this being a pro-truth channel. I speak on the rule. I don't speak on the exception. We know it's never all of nothing. So before you come in my car, well, it's not. I know it's not all. It ain't all or nothing. A broke clock is right 2 times a day, right? So this is a pro-truth channel, right? That is going off the rule, speaking on the rule and not the exception. So let's get into this. And this is gonna be volume one. Because I'm gonna start a series about this. I'm gonna have a full blown series about this because it's get out of hand, and that is the gender war in the black community. Listen, man, we already got enough foolishness going on in our community. The last thing we need is our men and women constantly going at it against each other, going on podcasts and go doing all this dumb stuff. And for the ones who want to stay with that for whatever reason, whether it's monetary gain or they just get some kind of they hurt and they just get some kind of high off of bashing the women of their race or bashing the men of their race, let them go ahead on and be removed because they gonna remove themselves. Whether it be going to date somebody else and ruin their life, because reason why I say date somebody else and ruin their life, they are a broken person. A lot of these dudes, and I'm talking men too, these men in these big towels and these women and all this, they are broken people. And don't get it wrong, some of these people were broken by the opposite sex of their race. I get it. We've all been there. But what they did is they let a sore become a wound. Instead of nursing that sore and so it can become and heal and maybe be a scar, they fed on that hurt until it created a wound out of a sore, and now they just bleeding on every damn body that's the same race as them. Which is another thing, like I said, about the black conservative movement. A lot of these black conservatives, they are people who was nerds in school. They was never accepted by their own community, and so now they using certain issues that plague the black community to beat on the black community like a bat. And in some situations, I support constructive criticism, but sometimes it just get too coonish for some of them. Some of them, not all, but some of them. You know, people like Candace Owens. I love Candace Owens. Candace Owens is, she's straight down the middle. She's straight up and down like 6 o'clock. She's about constructive criticism. She's the difference between being constructive criticism and just because you wasn't accepted, and or some even like they got like another guy, Jesse Lee Peterson. Now Jesse, my thing with him is he do a lot of extra coning, but that's part of his platform, his entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like creating white history month. Like we doing too much now. That's doing too much. So it's a fine line. But like I say, people like Candace Owens, that's somebody who I like as a black conservative. Every black conservative was on the same type of time as her, then I would probably claim myself as black conservative. But that's another story that's not here or there. That's not what this video about. This video is about the gender war. Now, you notice something. Notice something. I want y'all to listen to me and notice something. This gender war is only going on in the black community. I'm not saying that there's no other person that participated in MGTOW and the gender war and all this fooling, but for the most part, you will not see Lee and Ling Ling making podcasts and making posts and going at it with each other. They figure out on how they gonna date each other, either whether it be them dating somebody who they love, accepting somebody for who they, however it is, they work their issues out. Same thing with Maria and Jose. Same thing with Ben and Karen. It's only Ebony and Tyrone who is on these internet making podcasts and making TikToks, going at it against their own people. And what I mean by own people, the opposite sex of the same race. Listen, you cannot create generational wealth. Black people can never and will never be a superpower if they going at it against each other about gender foolishness. Listen, man, I tell people all the time, find somebody who you willing to love and who love you and move forward. Turn the podcast off. Turn TikTok off. Forget if you're a quote unquote high value man and you decide to mess with a woman who got 7 kids, do you. If that woman feeds your soul and complete you and vice versa, forget what all these dudes saying, oh, don't date her, she gonna take your money. You don't want to be no stepdad. Man, you gotta do what's happy for you. If you a woman who feel like, okay, yeah, I'm a beautiful woman, yeah, I'm an educated woman, and I feel as though I shouldn't have to go half and half with a man. But you meet a great man and he just so happened to be a little bit a step under you to the point where y'all have to split the bills. But you worried about a podcast where they talking about, girl, you could do that. Yeah, girl, you can go get any dick you want. But this man that's making less than you love you and love your soul, you need to stay with him or get with him, find him, and make it work for you. And stop worrying about what these miserable people, miserable opportunities saying on the damn podcast. Everybody else, all these other gender all these other races and ethnicities that I just mentioned, these people is getting paper and creating generational wealth for the next go round with their last name. They not getting caught up in all that. You know how many times and now what you see a lot, especially in the black community, is these Mexican and these white boys and white girls are snagging our women and snagging our men. And then now that's a whole not a whole bloodline has been the whole bloodline has been messed up now. The whole bloodline been messed up. But don't you know a bluebird will not sleep with a red bird, a cardinal, or whatever you want to call it? Don't you know a black bear will not sleep with a polar bear? Even though they probably won't be in the same area, but don't you know a lion won't sleep with a tiger unless they forced to? Cause I know people gonna say, yeah, I ain't talking about no clone and what nobody made happen in a laboratory. Naturally, an animal will not sleep with another animal unless it's the same type of animal. It could be the same type of animal, but a different species. They will not sleep with each other. You know why? Because they, as an animal, even though they don't really understand this, but the Most High who created them understand that if they mix with us, if I just let any animal sleep with any animal, then the species is gonna break apart. The species is gonna break apart. And you're not gonna have black bears no more. You're gonna have 50% black bear and 40%, because you never know how genealogy is gonna go. You know what I'm saying? You could have more what is than the other. Now you got snake and lizards running around here. No, that couldn't happen like that. And to keep all these animal species and they types go forward without being messed up bloodline wise, God created them to sleep with, look like them, what is them. But here it is, as humans, we want to be a white man and go sleep and produce with a white woman, a black woman. That doesn't. And I got a video on my channel about why I'm against interracial marriage, and I'd like y'all to go check that out. It's on the channel. Go check it out. It just doesn't make sense at all. Don't you know if you reproduce with somebody who is not the same race as you, God forbid something happened to that child, they need a organ transplant, a bone marrow transplant, or any type of transplant. You know how hard it is, almost impossible to find a match because this child bloodline is not pure. Now, granted, they got organizations that they have started to, strictly look for, strictly, focused on those type of situations, but still, the child grew up not knowing what community he want to be a part of. He never really fully accepted. Like it's just not even fair to the children. It's not normal dating outside the race. It's just not normal. You could agree with me or disagree. It's not normal. And if it was normal, that wouldn't be an issue. Like I say, I have opinions because that's an opinion. That's not a fact. But I have facts that support my opinion. And if it was normal, why is it that it's so hard for them to find a transplant? Because why is that? Their blood is not pure. It been broken into two or three, and then most white people is mixed with all kind of stuff. And same thing for black. Black got a lot of different things that they got going. So you didn't broke a bloodline, but black is just so happen to be the strongest of bloodline, and so it's able to, it's able to cover all that. But like black is the only race that you can get a color from. You can't get color from no other races, whether it be a brown person, a tan, whatever color. You got to get color from the black, right? And like I say, white people, they have all kind of different ethnicities, bloodline going through them. So once you break that in half or break that in three-fourths by reproducing with somebody outside the race, you messing the whole bloodline up. And so now your child can never bring back black. Even if your mixed child get a black woman or a black woman and reproduce, the baby still gonna be not pure. He not gonna be a pure black baby, right? But that's like I say, going back to the original subject. So I seen this video and I wanted to speak on that because, like I say, man, the gender war gotta stop. For all the things that I just said, the gender war has to stop in the black community. In order for us to one day be in power, empower ourselves, empower our communities, it's gonna have to be black because nobody gonna really care about black people like black. I'm not saying nobody. I'm not. This not one of those victim channels that it's the white man, it's the Jew. I'm not saying nobody against us. It is power. It is. They are powers that be that are against the black community. And like I say, that is a subject, an issue that needs to be talked about, but it's the last issue at this point. Black people are in control of their own destiny at this point. Now, because a lot of them misinformed, don't come up in two-parent households, they are easily influenced to go certain ways that the power that be. But at this point in time, it's a choice for black people in any decision that they make in their life. But for us to be empowered and to be great like we supposed to be, we're gonna have to bring back the black family, not the black and white family, not the black and Mexican family, not the swirl family. We're gonna have to bring back the black family. And once you reproduce with somebody outside of your race, that's over with for you. Not saying that, and when I mean by over with for you, it's not over with for you for there's because your family member, you might have a brother or sister that didn't do that. You might be the only one in the family who date white girls or date white men or whatever the situation is. But your children, of course, gonna still, be involved, but they have been compromised. They bloodline have been compromised. Don't compromise your bloodline. And so, like I said, let me get into this video. So I ran across this video, man, and it's so funny, bro. It's so funny, but it's another thing I blame black people, especially the black liberal. Because the black liberal, all the black liberal want is a hug. That's why the black liberal, I should have actually went in the comments and read the comments. Nothing but black women. Yeah, girl, talk, girl, tell them, girl, right? Anytime the white liberal, which is Malcolm X, warned black people about 60 years ago. Anytime the white liberal say something that's quote unquote affirms or celebrates the black person, is all fine and dandy. Because why is that? The black liberal, whether it be man or woman, all they really want is a hug. That's all they want. All they want is a hug from the white man. All they want for the white man to say, "We love you." They don't want no transfer of wealth, no transfer of power. All they want, like Martin Luther King, they want a hug. They just want to be equal. They don't want rulership. They want equality, which is so stupid because why would the power that be give you power? Why would they share their power with you? But I don't want to go too far because I got some stuff I want to say. But I'm going to say this here. So, this young lady is saying a whole bunch of, she's sprinkling it with truth. And like I say, I'm going to let her go. And of course, I'm going to chime in. But she's saying some truth. She's saying some true things. She's saying some true things. Right? Of course, it's how you say that it's there's a word you use, man, when somebody's saying the truth, but it's not the whole truth, but the truth. But like I said, I'm gonna let her go, and of course I'm gonna chime in. But this woman, first of all, why is you even speaking on what's going on in our community? And going back to what I said, if I got through off, they have felt comfortable to do this. You can't even go protest these days. The white liberal gotta be out there. Like, mind your business. Mind your business. But they just, because guess what? I don't know why they do this or why the white liberal call themselves, because, just let it go. Let it go. And I already don't like black liberals that push forth all these excuses. And then when you got a white liberal, because like I said, and I got a video I'm about to drop after this. White supremacy is the most powerful place that white supremacists exist in is a liberal black mind. They give white supremacy more power than anything, the liberal black, right? And so when you have a white liberal like this woman, who comes along and says the thing that she's saying, the black liberal is, they come on themselves, they so happy to hear it. Oh, she love us. She telling the truth. When in all actuality, she's lying. She's not giving you no solutions to help you in your situation. And again, she is saying something that is none beneficial to the black community. Nothing she's saying is beneficial to the black community. It's just pondering. And that's what the white liberal do. That's what the black liberal do. Ponder to the other black, the fake black leaders, the fake black pastors, the Democratic Party, a lot of these black celebrities, they ponder to the blacks. They don't tell the blacks what they really need to do to really help themselves and empower themselves. They just ponder and tell them who fault it is. And black people have bought on to that for so long. You just had a situation in Memphis, right, where 5 black police officers killed a black dude in a majority black city with a majority black police force with a black police chief, and Van Jones goes on CNN and said that was a symptom of white supremacy. Van Jones, a black man who was a recent recipient of $100 million from guess who? A white man. But black people is so, and I hate to say what I'm about to say, but I gotta say it. Not all, but most. Like I said, what I say on this channel, I speak on the rule, not the exception, because we know it's not all or nothing. But most black people are so brainwashed, dumbed down, and demoralizing, and they got so much hate in their heart for white people for whatever reason, that they believe this stuff. They listen to this stuff without even thinking, wait, this is not true. This had nothing to do with a white man. Oh, well, if he was white, it wouldn't have happened. Clearly, last year, I don't know about this year up to date, but last year and every year, more white people are killed by the police unarmed than anybody. Well, there's more of them in the country. Still, that's not the point. If it was just about white people, if it was white people hunting black, well, then they hunting whites too then. Because more of them die every year unarmed than black. Do your research. And by hundreds. Because I know y'all going to say, well, it's more of them. Well, it be in the hundreds more. But going back to this video, man, I got so much to say. And you get these white women like her, and as you can see on her neck, she had the conscious community sign on her neck of black people. That has nothing to do with white people. And this is why a lot of these black men and black women date white men and white women. Because when you date these, first of all, if a white woman or a black woman, if a white woman or a white man date a black person, we know they liberal off dump. Just from them dating outside their race, we know they liberal. And liberal white women and liberal white men worships black people. They worship them. So what she's doing, she's going to a worship. But like I said, I'm going to let her say what she's going to say. And of course, I'ma chime in.
So on my Instagram, and I'm looking in the comments, and it's basically
Get that lip right, baby. Get that lip right.
about some guy in jail and some girl talking about, oh, her man is coming home from jail, whatever, right? And then all these pages in the comments, which I'm assuming are black men or whoever, are in there bashing black women, saying, oh, only black women do this behavior, only black women want to be baby mamas, only black women glorify having a man in jail, and all sorts of stupid shit. I'm white, and I'm also sick and tired of seeing all this nonsensical, stereotypical backlash that black women get for doing the same things that every other race of women literally does. Like black men.
Okay, so that's one of the things we're gonna touch on. We're gonna take this. We're gonna take this slow. We're gonna slow stroke this. She said that black women get talked about for doing the same stuff that all other women does. Well, that's common sense, right? First and foremost, we understand that all races of women have OnlyFans. We understand that all races of women have is baby mamas. We understand that all races of other women that may be twerking on top of cars and traffic. And we understand that you might see any other race do it. But what is a fact is, what's another fact is that like I say, that's that BS. I call it BS truth because it's the truth, but it's not adding context. So let me add context to that. Yes, all these other women are doing the same thing that black women doing, but guess what? Black women are a small percentage of women in America, and they doing all these things at an alarming rate. Yes, you may have a particular woman in the Mexican community that jokes her drug dealer cartel boyfriend. Yes, you may have a Karen who actually stick beside her husband after he got convicted of something that was bad or heinous. But for the most part, these other cultures, white people, Mexican people, they disown, divorce they husbands whenever they get caught up into doing things that was either a breaking the law, drug dealing. They separate them completely, separate themselves from them. Whereas in our community, if you and I know this because I've been on both sides of the. Well, I ain't gonna say I've been on both sides, but I've been the thug dude and the degenerate that black women love. It's gonna be so. Like I said, in these other races, it might be one family member, but in not in the black community. In the black community, you have a whole clique of females going see their man at the jailhouse and proud to do it. Right? These things that's happening, I'm gonna say this more than one time because what she gonna do is what she just did. She gonna do this throughout the whole video. She gonna give BS truths, truth without context. Right? Everything that black people do in America, black on black crime, abortion, whatever you want to name, everything black people do in America, every other race is doing it as well. But blacks, by them being a small percentage, are doing these things at an alarming rate. I was talking to a brother yesterday, and he was saying about, well, people always talk about black on black crime, but people gonna kill who they're around, especially when they're in poverty situations. And I shut him up real quick. I say you lying. I say the reason why you lying is because no trailer park around the whole United States have as much murder and crime as a project or the inner cities or the inner cities. And trailer parks, I know them. I got friends that stayed in them. I got friends that stay in them now. Trailer park, not all of them, but I'm saying majority of trailer parks, especially in the South, are run down, filled with drug addicts, crackheads, meth heads, and these people commit crime. They steal, and sometimes they do kill each other. But for the most part, the only crime they doing in a trailer park is drugs, selling and doing. The projects is selling, doing, and they killing each other like flies. So it's not a poverty issue. It's not about who you stay around because these white trailer parks does not have near as much crime as your average projects. So that has been debunked. But I'm gonna let her finish.
like to gaslight black women and make them think somehow they're inferior to other races because they're doing things differently than other races of women when they actually.
And the next thing, we not, or I'm not gonna say we, because I don't do that. I don't get into that gender war on social media. But first of all, as black men who doing that, that's because that's what they want. They see, they desire a black woman, and so we want our women to fit a certain standard. That's not asking too much. I'm not saying that. Hey, and as men, we need to fit a certain standard as well. There's a certain standard that we need to fit before we even start talking about other people. Before there's us getting on the internet correcting some of the behavior that our black women do, we got that right. It's not gaslight. We got that right because we believe in black love. We could just not say nothing at all and go date white women and then not a bloodline broke up.
Aren't. Let me make one thing clear. Plenty of white women are baby mamas. Plenty.
Let me stop you right there. Yes, right. You're 100% correct. And a lot of those white women that's baby mamas is women who just like you, who date black men. I will be willing to bet my whole life, I will put my neck on the chopping block that this woman loves black men. She's one of those white women that is so hung up on black men that she will literally say, "I've heard it. I've messed with them. I've dealt with them in the past before I came into the knowledge. I've dealt with white women. They would tell me I don't even date white women. I don't even date white men. That's how brainwashed that. Well, not brainwashed. I'm even gonna say brainwashed. That's how toe up some of them is. And I would be willing to bet $100 million if I had it, and it's all I had. I would put my whole bank account that this woman only dates black men. That's all she dates. She's trailer trash. She's probably somebody who, and you can see in her voice she want to be black. Like I say, she got the conscious community necklace on her neck, which has nothing to do with her. She wouldn't even be able to explain it to you if you asked her what it meant, right? And she making a video that went viral about us talking to our women. And that's what happened with the white liberal. The white liberal, because he and she have been accepted into our community because they ponder to us, they feel like they can speak on our issues now. That they have they don't have no understanding, no recollection, and the damage that's being done in our community, they don't even know. Because let me show you something about this white girl. She can clean herself up today, right, and go back to being white. And it's somebody in her family, more than one person, I can guarantee you. And this is my real issue with white liberals and people like her. They can come into our community and wear the diamonds in their mouth, rock designer, and try to be black. But when they wake up and get themselves together, they can go cross their fifth and go back to being white. Daddy got a company, they uncle got a company, Paw got a company, and guess what? You black people who she was pawning to gonna still be in a situation that you in as a race in ruins that we in today. The situation that we in today is like, and you know what I'm saying. And guess what? That's what it is. Being that's why I really despise. I love everybody as a man of God, but I really despise these white liberals that want to be black. I really despise them, bro, because being black is it's not always easy. It's a beautiful thing, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But for people to want to come tiptoe over here for right now because they like a few certain things in the culture, and we so accepting of them because we not accepted in other people's cultures like that. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We not accepted in other people's cultures like that. But they just come over, and if it's a white girl who say something stupid like this, the black sister girls will invite her over to the cookout. The white boy put some diamond in his mouth and designer. He welcome to come in and talk like I was, we just welcome them in the fold. But that energy is not gonna be vice versa, bro.
Of white and Spanish and Asian women, mainly white women, will definitely be up beside their man in jail. In fact, the biggest pick-meishes and the biggest ones who are dumb for their man and are the biggest ride or dies are white and Spanish women. And don't take offense because I'm white and Spanish. I'm German and Argentine. Most of the time.
And see, that's another thing that they'll like to do. That's another thing people like her like to do. When they on their soapbox running their mouth. Now, when they with the sister, she with the sister girl, she wouldn't even just say what she just said. But because she on a soapbox, she know it's people that are all races. She don't know if Uncle Bernie might be watching it. She want to make sure she still keep that gray area. Like, I'm not going against my people. I'm just all of a sudden today, I'm the voice for black women. All of a sudden today, and this is an issue, man, because she always got something to go to. She always got something to fall back on. She always got somebody in her family that's gonna be willing to help her if she change her life and go back to being whitey. But guess what, black woman, black man, you don't got that. You don't got that. That's why I despise the white liberal.
Black women are actually smarter, less codependent, and more likely to leave a man. They're not as weak in the knees for a man as a lot of white and Spanish women are, who are willing to stay and literally never leave through anything. Which I feel is.
I'm gonna show you another thing what she just said, how stupid what she just said. Now I'm not gonna discredit what she said. Black women are smarter, but I'm not gonna say that. I judge women. I don't judge women by their intellect and their education or their smartness on a race. But what I will say is this here: she can say whatever she want and make it as cute as she want to make it. We know in America, forget what we hear on the podcast, forget what we see on the news. We know as black people that the average black mama is a single woman. We know that 80% of all divorces in our community is filed by a black woman, breaking up the family. You know how many white women I know personally? Now, I'm sure, and I believe it's happening a lot. And I'm always heard that this happened in the Mexican community. I've heard this happen in the Jewish community. But I know white people for sure that actually was separated from their husband, not separated for this on paper, but like slept in different rooms. But until the children went to college, they stayed together because these other races of people and ethnicities of people understand that once you bring children in the world together, it's not so much about your happiness. I'm not saying you're supposed to be around getting physically abused or verbally abused. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is these other races of people understand how important it is to keep the nuclear family together at least until the child go to college. Because a child being raised without one of his parents is very detrimental to his lifestyle as a whole. Whatever, because guess what? If he's raised by his daddy, or even though single fathers are more successful than single mothers, still in all, if a child is raised by just one parent, he gonna be chemically imbalanced, and whatever that chemical imbalance whatever that chemical imbalance is, it's a seed that's being planted into them that's gonna hurt them for the rest of their lives. You know, people always like to compare Michael Jordan to LeBron. And of course, LeBron is talent-wise a greater player. But you know why LeBron is so hated and Jordan is always so loved? Because Jordan was raised by his mother and his father. And that gave him by him being raised by two parents in a nuclear family, it taught him how to be balanced in life. And not just be all the way here or all the way there. Most black men today are overly emotional because they was raised by mama, and that's LeBron. LeBron was raised by his mama, and because he was raised by his mama, he's overly emotional, and because he's overly emotional, anytime there's a political situation or a social justice issue, before he even have facts, he speak on it out of his emotion, and this is why he's one of the most hated people today, as great as he is. And I'm one of those people. I used to love LeBron James. I used to love LeBron until I started seeing how he speak out of turn and say stuff that he not educated on. I stopped liking him. Because why? You got hundreds of millions of people who follow you on your social media platform. So when you got that type of power, you got to be careful what you say. Because it's too many people that don't do their own research, don't live their own life. They worship you, and they gonna listen and take everything you say to heart. So you gotta be careful. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. To whom much is given, much is expected. And this is why he's the most hated player of our time. Man got booed at the Super Bowl, bro. Booed. This man is the greatest player, got all the accolades, did all kind of stuff. But because he opened his mouth out of emotion, misleading people. The people in the world who actually do have a brain don't like him. Whereas Jordan never did that. He spoke and he said that he always, if I wasn't well versed on it, I wouldn't speak. And that's the power of being raised in a two-parent household. Jordan had his emotional moment, but because guess what? It's good to have emotion, but it's not good to be overly emotional. That's the trait of the woman. Even though he had his emotional moment, Jordan also was structured. Like, I'm not gonna say this and say that or speak on this or speak on that because I don't have all the facts and I'm not educated in that. And I understand the power that I have. If I say something, it's gonna sway a lot of people to go what I say without them doing their own research. So that's just a small situation on how important a two-parent household is. I can go on and on and on, but that just was a small dose of how important and why it's important for you to have a two-parent household. And it also said that you still can be a successful person. But those traits that was planted in you as a child, no matter how successful you get, it's never going away. Because they seed that have grew, those overly emotional seed that LeBron got from his mama is still there, as successful as he is. And so she could say that about all these other women are ride or die and all these other women do the same thing. We know that black women, 70% of them, it's over 70%, but I'm going to just say 70 because I don't know the exact odd number, are raising children by themselves. You can say, well, oh, that's just a statistic. Look at when you go in the store. You don't see no other, and it's not supposed to be that way because we, as black people, are too small of a percentage to be taking up stuff. This is why we lead in all the bad areas of crime and all this, because why? Most of us are being raised without a father. And like I said, it happens in all races, but majority of the white women that's single mom, not all of them, but majority of them, is women just like her, wigger white girls who dated the black man, worshiped the black man, and he did them just like he did his own women. Left them with a baby, a swirl baby. Let's continue.
The main reason why black men try to bash black women because, other races of women are more willing to tolerate a lot of shit and be quote unquote submissive and a rider.
Yeah. Submissive and ride or die for their husband. You're not supposed to just leave your husband for, and I don't support divorce, but I understand you getting beat to death or, it is, but I'm saying other races of women are willing to stay with their man. You got black women leaving their husband because they quote unquote not happy anymore. Don't care about the kid and how that's gonna affect them. You got black women leaving because the man might have had a rough patch financially, or he done got sick. To death do his part, sickness on health. Other races seem to honor that more than black women. Not about no ride or die and all that. Other races seem to honor that more than black women. That's why black women is one of the and a lot of them lonely and because black women, I'm gonna show you another thing. Black women is the biggest race of women who have accepted that feminism that says, hey, don't get married too young, get you a degree, and worry about a man later. Liberate yourself, sexually liberate yourself. These other women all do it, but it hurts the black community even more because black women are doing the same thing once again as all these other races are doing, but we as a small percentage are doing them at an alarming rate. So yes, other races seem to be more quote unquote, as you say, submissive or ride or die. And is it a coincidence that they the ones who create generational wealth? Isn't that a coincidence? While we the ones who, if we don't rap or be an athlete, we struggling or working for somebody else's company for 60 years and retire with a pension? Only way we can make it, bro, is if we rapping, acting, some type of celebrity. Other than that, we working for a company for 100 years and retire with a pension that we can't pay down our kids. While all these other women that you just mentioned, see what I'm saying? Don't leave that out. Add everything. If we gonna speak the truth, let's speak it. Everything you said, but guess what? Also add that, yeah, and them women that you quote unquote say submit her ride or die, why is it them that have the more generational wealth than black women? Don't leave that out.
Die and never leave and do things that a black woman is too smart and too strong to do. Also, my granddaddy is white, and he has about 5 to 6 baby mamas, and my grandma never married
Anecdotal. Anecdotal. We can't verify that. That is anecdotal.
my grandpa, and he also never raised a majority of his kids. He was a deadbeat. White people do the same shit. Like, don't let these black men gaslight you and make you think, oh well, the white women get married and this. No, these bitches are stupid. They're stupid. White women are just as fucking ratchet and ghetto, and we do all the same shit in white families that y'all do in black families, if not actually worse. Like, I thought when everyone saw the show Shameless, they kind of got an idea.
And I want to go back to that real fast. I want to say, because that's a real something she just touched on when she said that. Because I know where she was going with that. We said, yeah, we do a lot of same thing in our community as black people do, and sometimes even worse. What you talking about when you say worse? We all know what you're getting at, and that is molestation and a lot of those things that go on with those little white boys and white girls that happen at the hands of their grandfather, their uncle, their siblings. Well, let's talk about that too. That's another thing, and that's why I tell single mothers all the time: be careful who when you date these men, because when you date men and you have children, you're not dating just for yourself. You also dating for your children and family members. Be careful of the family members that you bring your children around, because you never know how nobody is, right? And so let me break the shell open on that. A lot of molestation and incest and all that type of stuff that go on in white community go on in the black community. But guess what? It gets swept under the rug because they don't want uncle to be exposed in front of the community. They don't want the daddy to go to jail. They don't. I was dating a female. I was actually dating a girl. I was dating a girl one time, and this girl had 3 sons. One of them was 7, one of them was 8, and the oldest one was like 13 or 14. He was raping his little brothers and he was raping his 2 little brothers. You know what I'm saying? He was raping them, and she, she took it real bad, and she disciplined him, and that was it. That was it. Nobody. She didn't play. She didn't call the authorities or nothing like that. That'd have been some white people. Oh, they'd have called the authorities. So the only thing different is white people report that type of stuff that go on in they families. Black people don't. I know I've dated more than one female, and I want to add this too. She had been molested by her uncle, and I've dated other women who have been molested by their uncles, their dads, and all kind of stuff going on in the black community, just like the white community. But we just don't report it for fear of being shamed as a family. That we don't want uncle to go to jail for whatever reason, but it goes on in the black community too. So just to highlight that. So let's not play this game that she playing.
Of how dysfunctional a lot of white families are, but I guess you guys really didn't get the memo. Like, so black woman, you're good. Keep doing you. Stop.
Black women, you're good, says a white woman. Boy, I tell you, man, can't make this stuff up.
Listen to these fucking podcasts and all the bullshit these black men are portraying. Oh, you have an attitude.
The same black men that you will let run a train on you because you obsessed with them, you worship them like God. That black man?
Every fucking woman on the planet has an attitude, especially if she's from New York. Every woman has an attitude.
Get that lip right, sis. But I'm in this video, man. But like I said, man, the gender war in our community has to stop. Because if it don't expect nothing to change. Things gonna get worse, and before you know it, everybody gonna be swirling out here, and then it's definitely gonna be over for the black race. Cause all our elders, they getting up and they leaving here, and it's on the millennials to carry on this legacy. We can't carry on that legacy by it. I'm trying to find a word. By not keeping our blood pure and go and date these other people. Listen, man, find somebody who you love and who love you, who good for your soul, you good for theirs. Forget what they, and that's not a bum. Forget how much they got. Forget how much they make. Forget what they have. Forget how much education they got. Find someone who feeds your soul. You feed theirs. That's the same race as you, black woman. The same race as you, black man. Because there's a lot of great black men out here. A lot of great black women. It's not always portrayed on social media. Social media have you thinking otherwise. But if you turn your phone off, there's a lot of beautiful, amazing black women out here that's waiting for a great black man. And there's a lot of great, smart, intelligent black men out here that's waiting for a black woman. So let it go with all this gender war nonsense. Cause Lee and Ling Ling, Karen and Ben, Jose and Maria, they not doing none of that. They getting paper and creating generational wealth while we going on podcasts, listening to white liberals, and just doing all this foolishness, going against each other, and it's not helping. It's not helping. All it's just doing is people getting some stuff off their chest or whatever, but it's not helping. It's not helping our life, and it's not helping our bloodline that's coming behind us. So I thank y'all for watching. Be blessed.